Hello, everybody. It's me. It's Andy, Decade Andy here. Moonbase 2. We're getting pre-showing. Got Big D here. Hi, Big D.
Hello.
Hello. Last minute edition, Big D. But Big D said if I was doing anything, and I was like, well, it's not much news. So yeah, why not? I hope, Big D, that you've got toys to talk about, or at least you can throw opinions on certain figures that I've picked up recently.
I've had some new arrivals, so yes, okay. I can talk about those, and I'm happy to talk about yours.
Do you have the Autobot Unite 5-pack? You know, with the
I don't, because I already had
molds.
I had everyone apart from Hound already.
That's fine. We can talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got the first 3 of the Star Raiders turned up in the last week.
The first 3?
The 3 deluxes. Which
one's the 3 deluxes?
Filch, Cannonball, and...
Oh, that set.
Lockdown.
That set. Okay. Yeah, the online... online Walmart, Target, something exclusive, whatever it's meant to be. I don't know.
Yeah. I've had the first 2 Mayhem packs. And
you've got the Deluxe Insecticons.
Yeah.
Yeah, you fucker. I put my order in through Amazon. It hasn't came through yet. They had to delay it. They said it was coming out in June, and then they delayed it pretty heavily to like mid-August-y kind of time. I can't remember exactly when, but I'm like, goddamn, well, whatever. Fair enough. It's gone.
I got them through Pulse.
Okay. I didn't go through. I think Pulse had already sold out. I usually don't go through Pulse. I can get a little bit cheaper.
Yeah.
And usually Pulse sells out of things very quickly. Very quickly.
Sometimes it's really weird how quickly some stuff sells out.
Oh, it's terrible. Usually the American side has a bit more stock than the well, I don't know about how the rest of the world fares, but I know the UK site, you can go on there and then go over to the US one and be like, oh, they've got stock in for this thing that I want. What about UK? No? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff the American site carries that we never even get a sniff of. Like,
yeah, it's just like Swoop from G1.
Yeah. Well, didn't they put some of the San Diego exclusives up on there, like Def said?
On the American one, or do you mean on ours?
On the American one.
I don't know.
Supposedly leftover stock was supposed to go up this week.
It hasn't came up on ours?
No. Which, given that Def said was created by Marvel UK, that hurts. That hurts a lot.
Yeah, but that's not the green one. That's the blue one, so who cares about the blue one? You want the green one. That's the real Def's head.
I mean, I like both.
No, I have green or blue. Choose a side. Pick a side.
Admittedly, I do have the blue one because I have the old 3 3/4 inch version they did.
Yeah, pick a side. Don't fence it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll the music and we can get on to the pooping cast because that'd be a good idea. We've still got stuff I could talk about. Crab Boy's in chat. Hey, Crab Boy. He says, yo. I did a news video that's just uploaded. Oh, good stuff. I hope it's full of, well, granted, you probably had some trouble like we had this week because it's not a huge amount of news. Bro, UK stock is shit. Oh, yeah. Yep. Yeah. It always has been. If you're old as me and Big D. Oh, you don't know. You don't know. It's always been shit. It's always been shit. The goddamn Americanos. Motherfuckers. All right. Let's roll the music and let's start pooping all over the floor. Okay. Music time.
Welcome to Moonbase 2.
Hello and welcome everybody to the Moonbase 2 podcast. My name is Andy, Decade Andy. We're here for more Transformers nonsense and woo-woo, as always seems to be the thing. We came off the heels of San Diego Comic-Con last week, and we have got the dregs, the drippy remains that's been left over for this week, aka not a huge amount, but a few bits to cover. We got Big D here. Hey, Big D.
Hey, man.
How's it going? You doing well?
In this increasingly hot and sweaty country of ours, yes, I am doing okay.
Muggy. It's muggy. Yeah. It's cloudy. It's grey, but it is moist and sticky. The best combination.
worst bit is it is actually a little bit cooler than it has been.
That's true. That's true. It's
But
better,
not,
but
but
could be
not
better.
enough.
No. And yeah, I will say it's been better than the previous years, so I won't complain because I think this summer's been way nicer than the previous 2 or 3 years.
I mean, we still have August and September to get through yet.
Are you suggesting? I don't think we're going to have like a 3-week heat wave like we had previously in previous years.
I hope not. I
doubt
really
it.
hope not. I could do about that.
It was either last year or the year before where it got up to about 26 where I am, and it usually never gets up to 26 where I am. So
it was worse down here in the
I bet.
South.
Northern supremacy, baby. Let's go. It's another reason why the North's better than you little fucking Southern motherfuckers. Brr, brr, brr. That's what you get for being Southern. We're here to talk about some Transformery stuff. We're going to kick off with the top tier kind of news. The Hasbro Kids Transformers Orion Pax / Optimus Prime and the D16 / Megatron Halloween costumes. Because these are always top tier, high quality costumes for the little ones. They're listed for $25 because we don't have them here in the UK. As far as I'm aware, and that's okay. I'm okay by that. Descriptions run from these are the officially licensed Transformers 1 costumes. They are muscle jumpsuits, which is the standards now. It's the style of the time. Has been for a while. Printed artwork on the front and the back. Attached dimensional shoulder pieces, which is a fancy way to say they've got little bits on the shoulders to, I guess, break up the silhouette. A half mask with adjustable strap. I imagine that these don't have the plastic that dig into your face like they used to as I was a small kid. Do you remember those masks, Big D? Where if you could like if you like touched them too hard, they would just kind of crumple. But they were so sharp at the same time. They were that kind of weird plastic.
Yeah, you came up looking like you had a weird saw torch device in your face sometimes. So you were really unlucky.
Yeah, depending how the mask was, there was always like really red rings around your eyes where the eye holes were, because those would always dig into your flesh. Sometimes around the nose. Sometimes.
And if you ever hit your head into something, God help you.
The mask was gone. The mask explodes. It's just
the mask
like
exploded,
glass.
but you'd also have basically indentations in your face.
Yeah, pretty much.
If not full-on scratch marks.
Yeah. And the Optimus Prime one comes with a Matrix of Leadership. No, I lied. That's sold separately. Never
Of course
mind.
it is.
Of course it is. So, Big D, let's presume that you had the body of a small child. Would you be tempted to wear these slightly scary Megatron and Optimus Prime? The Megatron especially has a slightly grim-looking mask to it for some reason.
You say, presume you don't know what's in my basement.
That's true. I don't know how big you are. That's true.
These are fine. I mean, they're a bit of fun, aren't they? 25 quid's actually better than I thought they'd be, to be honest.
Yeah.
$25, so...
I would still describe the masks as pretty crap, and like I say, a tad scary for Megatron.
Yeah, well, the masks are terrifying, but the actual body muscle suits, they're actually all right. I mean, that print is pretty decent for what it is.
They've actually got some scuff details and stuff like that on it.
Yeah, the shoulder pads are a nice touch.
They've kind of done that before with previous ones, like Bumblebee. They do the little door things on the back of the bee, and I think they've done previously a bit more with previous ones. I want to say, I mean, I can't recall all of the kids' costumes for some reason. You know, they didn't stick in my mind too well over the years, but I want to say there's a little bit less here than usual, and that's probably because of the lack of silhouette, right, for the Transformers 1 characters, at least at this stage. Like Orion Pax and D16 are pre-Transformer. Yeah. No transformation cogs, so there's nothing to them.
No Gribblies.
No, exactly. So I wonder if
no kibble rubber, I should say.
Gribbly works. Gribblies work. I'm okay with Gremlins. I wonder then if we're going to get a Optimus Prime and Megatron, the T-Cog, if they call them that in the movie versions of these costumes, or whether it'll just be the baby versions.
I don't know. I mean, I reckon that this will probably be it, to be fair.
I would have thought so. I don't think that... Yeah, I would say the costumes aren't going to go all in.
No, I mean, it'd be nice to see a B and Deleta 1 versions as well.
Oh, they're not doing a Deleta 1. I can tell you
I know. That's always frustrating, you know, because my niece loves Transformers. She'd probably be down for that.
I think they would have looked at these things and figured out that the demographics just aren't there.
Yeah,
despite what people say.
Yeah, the mathematics of these things are so clinical, it's not funny. But these are perfectly fine.
Yeah, they're all right. They're not amazing, but yeah.
They're
a thing. Yeah, we've seen worse over the years. You could say the 80s versions were a lot worse, where it was just a weird kind of orange plate that went over the front of a kid, and then a Starscream face which was just blue.
Yeah.
Those were a little bit weirder, I would say, from back in the day. So that's the costumes. ACG HK, which I assume the HK is Hong Kong, showed the Flame Toys Fur-Eye models, Optimus Prime. This the animated one, the super animated Optimus Prime. There were some other kits there. They also showed the Kurakara Kiri Die Atlas in grey prototype, the IDW Ultra Magnus, the Starscream, the Fur-Eye model, which is the not action figure, it's the model kit version of the Optimus Prime, which we just mentioned, the Action Beast Megatron color prototype, model Banzai-tron, model G1 Megatron, model Shockwave, model Hound, and a Kurakari jet-powered armored, and then it's got in brackets, combined with Kurakari, Optimus Prime, and Nemesis. Jet armor. Oh, okay, it's jet armor. So the first one, Die Atlas, a very highly stylized Die Atlas.
That's very IDW about Die Atlas.
Kind of, but also not.
Yeah, it's kind of the IDW design, but then taken way more anime, because way more than he ever was before.
Interestingly enough, the bits behind his head are very kind of IDW Star Saber. They had that kind of, like, I don't know, Wolverine claws in front of a panel or something. I don't know how to describe it.
I think they're supposed to be vents. Yeah, they're supposed to be vents, and they just kind of like detailed
like
them.
Claws, yeah.
Very, very sharp and pointy.
Very. It's a good look for Die Atlas, and this will look way more impressive once it's been colored. You know, grey prototype. Die Atlas kind of falls flat because he is a very bright and nice looking character who never really gets a lot of love. Bless him. Zone was one episode. I say unfairly, but it makes sense why he doesn't have a lot of love.
It's nice that both of the characters kind of endured over the last couple of decades.
Well, he's a leader, isn't he? The leaders always get at least something. You're not going to get a lot of love for the Decepticon generals, for instance. When was the last time they got looking?
True.
Devastator with a cloak, Triptychon with a cloak, Predaking with a brain, a human brain, or alien brain, organic brain. That's interesting thing about the kit again. The face is quite tiny, I would say. Got big helmet, big proportions everywhere, but his face very, very small.
Yeah, that's certainly a choice they've made there with that.
It almost feels like a Super Sentai, Gridman kind of thing, Gao kind of stuff, Super Robot.
You know what I'm kind of getting from that? Saint Seiya.
They had very pointy helmets, didn't they?
But also the way that it actually fits around the face.
He's just missing the big, like, billowy hair behind him, right? Because that's what the Saint Seiya's had.
Yeah, that'll be the aftermarket upgrade.
The big billowy hair.
The con exclusive variant.
Oh my god. Yeah, he looks good, solid enough. Starscream, which is clearly one of their own designs, Coronation Starscream, because of course. Very long, slender lady legs on him, I will say. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I've never been a big fan of Coronation Starscream. I think Coronation Starscream's fine in like a movie, but I would never want to just play my Starscream as Coronation Starscream.
It's a very specific look, which
it's an
everyone knows is going to end poorly for.
Pretty much. Interesting thing is, it looks like this figure can be, with parts, you can swap them over to be Galaxy Force style as well. That's kind of cool. Yeah,
I dig that. Initially, I wasn't too sure if that was a completely different figure or not, but the more you look at it, you can say, but it's just extra bits kibbled on. It's like, that's really cool.
Yeah, for those not aware, it looks like you add bits to the outer sides of his shins. You add new shoulder parts, obviously. And that looks like it's it.
I'm not sure if the guns are actually built into his backpack as is, into his shoulder the bits extend over his shoulders.
Yeah,
But
it'll
I
either
think-
be one of two things, right? You'll flip them out, or you'll just peg them into the backpack. It's one of those two. I would imagine you probably peg them in, right?
Yeah, and I think he might have some extra. I'm trying to work out if that's extra wing bits that are on his wings or on his shoulder pieces.
You probably take his unplug like his G1 wings, I would presume, right? Since
That makes
Galaxy
sense.
Force Starscream never had those
Yeah.
wings, and the shoulder pads would kind of make them redundant. So you probably just poop them off and throw them off into your box. So yeah, there's a bit of versatility here, depending how you want to dance them up, I suppose. Again, I'm not sure who this satisfies. I don't think this is for the people that would want Galaxy Force. I don't think this would tickle them because this is not Galaxy Force Starscream. It's kind of a tweaked
Halfway
version.
house. It's
Yeah,
kind of-
and for Starscream, I think for the people who are already doing the Kurakarakuri stuff and that kind of aspect, I think as a G1 Starscream, this will probably fit in nicely with that, and they'd be happy enough with it. You know, whether you want to play around with the Coronation version or the other version, I guess.
I've just realised I've gone through your picture. He does keep the original wings.
Oh, does he for the?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, they're on the back there.
Yeah,
You just see them
yeah.
poking through. I wonder if you can unpeg them then, because it does seem a tad redundant. But
It's interesting. Certainly.
options are always good. I'll never say no to them. Also, the Ultra Magnus, was this the IDW styled Ultra Magnus? If it wasn't said, it
yes.
looks like it. At the very
It's
least.
either actually no, it might be the Maximus Ambus armor he wore towards the end of the Lost Light, the Morphin meets VI before it transitioned to the Lost Light.
Yeah, and then they've added like four extra missile pods onto his like hip skirts and shin skirts. Again, a nice looking Ultra Magnus, styled very big, which is the style of the time for these guys. So if you like your big Ultra Magnuses, I suppose this is another big hitter for you. More images of that. What do you think of the Megatron, G1 Megatron? He's way more simplistic than the figures we've just looked at, that's for sure.
He is a lot cleaner. Still a nice amount of detail though, he's a nice compromise between the two. I'm getting big hints. Do you remember the old Reveltech?
Oh, I know why it makes you think of the Reveltech. Because his groin's being pushed forward.
I mean, that probably does contribute a bit to it subconsciously.
Because 90% of Reveltech stuff was always groin thrusted forward. Not even it's a fact. You can look through like Reveltech's history. There's a lot of groin thrust.
Mate, I have Reveltech Meg's Hot Rod, Starscream, and Prime.
God.
So.
Oh my god, they're old ones too.
Yeah, they're boxed up on the other side of my TV underneath a stack of DVDs.
Oh my god. Well, this one's a model kit, so Big D, I know you're a model kit maker, a man that builds. Would you build one of these? Depending if you could find on like HLJ or Ami or something like that.
I'd probably give this one a go. I mean, if that's with minimal sticker application, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking there's a sticker on his tum-tum for his buttons.
Insignia. Yeah. Oh, yeah, the buttons. Yeah, probably. The Decepticon insignia, obviously.
And I think across his chest as well, that looks like it might be a sticker as well. Otherwise...
You don't even need that, do you? Because if you just had a panel liner, you could just fill in the black slots, because it doesn't look like there's a reason to have that big of a sticker, right?
Not really, but I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, that's a very clean build.
Looks it.
So... I would be quite happy to have a go at that.
What do you think about the red bits on the side of the abdomens? I think they could be stickers, potentially. They could be separate as well, but it's hard to say with the image we have.
It is
a guess.
Yeah. I think that might be plastic, looking at how the colour... Looking at the biceps, where they're in shadow, they can't... They're not quite a perfect match, but they're not far off.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
But it looks potentially like the bits on the sides of his gut, they might be pushed into that as separate pieces. And then the piece in the middle of the stomach, that looks like it's got a sticker on the top for the greebles.
That would make sense.
And then the chest itself, that Decepticon logo has to be a sticker of some sort or a label.
Yeah.
Or it's covering the whole of the chest or not. I think it is covering the whole of that top chest.
I think it is as well, because if you look at like underneath his like his
There's a little different shade of grey underneath it as well.
yeah,
So
like where you spray your deodorant, that is a different grey, and you can see like a little lip on the edge. So again, you could scrap that sticker, and as long as you've got like toy hacks labels, you could just throw Decepticon insignia on there, and you'd be done. You'd be fine.
Yeah, and I can't imagine that detail on the sides of the top of the chest and the 6 lines underneath leading to the stomach. I can't see that they're not actually sculpted on, so that would be easy enough just to panel line instead.
Yeah.
But for stickers, that's actually not egregious.
No, that's thanks for Megatron's kind of simple scheme, I suppose, as well, right?
Yeah, I've seen a lot worse over the years. So,
I'd
give this one a go. So
they've got the colored version. I think we talked about the uncolored Beast Wars Megatron ages ago, or at least I did. We've got a colored version here. Interesting that his secondary color is kind of a blue, like an Ultramarines blue, which doesn't quite match what I think you should go for a Beast Wars Megatron.
No.
It's a bit of a weird choice. It doesn't look bad. It's just noticeably not Megatron. It's like it's like coloring Optimus Prime's legs black instead of blue. It's like I guess you could do that, but
it
why?
sticks out as being
wrong.
Odd.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a shame though, because the mold looks really nice. It's an interesting take.
I mean, it's massively spiky, but it looks great.
Yeah, he's not going to be fun to pick up, because where do you pick him up from? Where you don't get yourself?
that could be an exciting experience.
But yeah, he still looks solid.
Trip and put your hand down on the top of him and just pull it away, and he comes with you. Touch your hand.
Hey, if you don't pick him up with your hands, I guess you can let him cling to your face. That's an option. What about the animated Prime? Since this is the first time we've seen him, at least the super upgraded version.
I love seeing this design get done by different folks.
I still get annoyed by it.
This particular one, or just the idea of the design itself?
Well, specifically because this was done and released in Japan, and it never came to the US or the UK.
Yeah, that was always
same
a bit
for Blackout. I don't really care about the Hydra Dive Bumblebee. I didn't care about that, but I cared about these two not coming out officially. I was annoyed by it.
Yeah, I get that. I was never really. I only picked up like 2 or 3 animated figures whilst it was going on. I think I had Grimlock and Black Arachnia.
Okay, why didn't you pick up more? Was it just an interest or something?
Well, one, availability. They were really hard to get hold of around here. When you say the UK is a black hole for Transformers collecting, the West Country is just bizarre. Because we went through the longest strip. It's a lot better now because we've got a Smiths in town. But you know, a few years back where all the different bargain outlets were seemingly getting in like the stock from Toys R Us of all the exclusive box sets that never came to the shore.
Yeah.
Or missed retail. None of them ever hit anywhere in the Southwest.
Oh.
And I actually asked in one of the stores about this. I just asked the question if there was a reason. And it's because there's actually 2 different hubs for a lot of these stores. One is kind of like in the Northeast. The other one's in the Southwest. The Northeast branches were the only ones getting this stuff. So you'd go on all the forums and see people saying, "Oh, these figures are out and it's dirt cheap, and I've bought a pack for me and a pack for my friends, and this one's for resale, and I'm going to split this one up." And we go, "Where? Oh, it's in this chain. Cool, I'll go there." No, nothing. But honestly, it was more I was just picking up figures I like the look of. That I didn't dislike any of the designs from animated.
Yeah,
it was just I was in a phase where I was picking up Grimlocks as they came out, because Grimlock's kind of like always been one of my faves, and Black Arachnia just because she looked like a good version of the character, a merge of the 2 Beast Wars designs. And she was actually quite a nice figure, still is, I think.
Not bad. It got some problems, but I think pretty decent little toy.
Yeah, I won't lie. I do regret sometimes not picking up more. I mean, I did pick up a Bulkhead from a car boot sale in...
Leader or Voyager?
leader.
Ah, okay. I never had that one.
Which was hilarious to get because he was missing bits from the shoulders. So we've transformed him. The bits that closed around his robot mode head in vehicle mode weren't there.
Oh, those bits. Oh, the little kind of turret thing.
The light bar.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, but no, I've always I get where you're coming from over. It was really weird. This particular version of the character didn't get released in the West.
Yeah, and it was right there. It was on the cusp of being done. It's a shame. This is a way to get that at least rendition. He comes with the Magnus hammer. He comes with his standard Optimus Prime fire axe thingy, and then he seems to come with two faces: the masked version and then unmasked version, which is great. You know, depending on how you want to.
Options are brilliant.
I think a prerequisite with Optimus Primes from animated specifically are you have to give him two versions of his head, because he's or at least it has to be. I don't think animated Optimus Prime should have his mask on, because 90% of the time he didn't.
Yeah,
you know?
He's probably the one version of the character that going without the faceplate works.
Yeah,
and it's kind of that character's trademark more than any other version that they've tried it with.
I would say so. Messages from the chat. No, I never knew this was so important and didn't put it in the news video. It gets you. I forgot about this. I need to check TFW 2005 more. It's not a bad little site. It can sometimes miss stories as well, but it's pretty good. And hello, Jubal. Welcome. Welcome to the stream. We also have the Banzaitron. I think this is the first time we've seen Banzaitron from these guys. I don't recognize the design from anything in particular, though. This might just be their own take on Banzaitron, which is...
I think it might be, because the IDW version was... they did make him distinct from Bludgeon more than in most other versions recently.
Yeah.
And I can see a little bit of that DNA in this design, but it looks more like they've just taken that original Action Master and given it a real bit of anime flair.
Yeah, more shoulder pads, weird legs, and
I kind of dig it.
Yeah, it looks okay, not too bad. It'll obviously have a lot more pop to it once it's colored finally, so nothing there. And then we have some images of, I'm guessing, previous figures that have been out, because we have a colored version of Soundwave, the Shockwave, the Hound, the Drift, and then I guess we can talk about this one, the Optimus Prime with the Jetfire bits on him. And then the Super Nemesis version as well, where he's got lots of bits and greebles on him. What do you think of the Optimus Prime? I'm guessing the Prime is... Yeah, he doesn't have all of the Jetfire bits on him. I don't think he has the Jetfire chest on, and he's clearly missing a shoulder. Well, in comparison, the Nemesis version does.
But Nemesis version kind of rocks, not gonna lie.
It doesn't look like it'd be very fun to try and pose it, though. I think you'd need to have this... I think it's specifically shown on the stand because it might not be able to support its own weight.
Yes, that seems like a safe bet. And I wouldn't want to try and pick it up anyway, just looking at the number of sharp edges on everything.
Again, it's one of those figures you look at and I don't know where you grab it from. I don't know, because if you grab it under like its arms, its armpits, are the legs gonna be too heavy and start falling apart? I don't know. Maybe not. I hear the company's good, but I'd be concerned personally.
I mean, it's kind of funny though that poor Jetfire doesn't even get a figure of his own. He's just his corpse.
That's all you are at the end of the movie, Jetfire. You were an old man who was killed, and your body parts were ripped apart by jolts.
Not even killed. He killed himself.
That's true. He pulled out his own heart for some reason.
It wasn't even like... I mean, technically it was a heroic sacrifice, but not... It was a sacrifice, but not a heroic sacrifice.
Yeah, it was kind of a lazy sacrifice, like, I'm done. I'm done. I'll die. It's okay. I don't want to be part of this anymore.
That film, you can tell so much that it was made when the writer's strike was going on.
Yeah. It's got some issues, that's for sure. That was all the Kurakara Kiri stuff and the usual stuff from... What do you call them? Flame toys. Lots of this stuff is going to be coming out in the near future if it's not already. We haven't seen any more of the lady model kits that they did for RC and Windblade. I wonder if they're just done with those two, or if they're going to be doing more of the ladies in the future. Probably, maybe not. Is there not too many like big name ticket lady characters?
Really,
I suppose
Black Arachnia would be the biggest one they could go for next, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you'd think so. I wonder if they'll do it though. At the ACGHK, they also showed the Unix Square Conbot Megatron reveal. I've no idea what this was, or never heard of it before. Images come from Gokin.it. We have an Optimus Prime metallic bust, the colored prototype showing off the LED lights. We have a Combot G1 Megatron. Sorry, Optimus Prime. Gray prototypes showing the way you can rebuild the figure into its alt mode by reattaching pieces and adding some extra parts. I'm sure that'll make sense when we look at the images. Combot Starscream gray prototype and Combot Megatron gray prototype. And a new reveal. I don't really know what these are, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, I hadn't heard of them before, I don't think. Maybe I had.
I mean, I don't think this is a line for folks who have an issue with parts forming.
No, I think those people might get mad.
It would make them sad.
Yeah.
I'd hope sad over other emotions, but sad's probably understating things.
I don't know what, like, the concept, how best to describe this, because they're not Transformers, clearly, because the idea is you rip them apart, seemingly, to transform them.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of seen stuff like this before, where it's actually a really nicely articulated action figure, and then they've kind of cheated to get to make the transformation
turn into
work.
Something else, yeah.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, that vehicle mode is that's. I mean,
it's a square.
I've seen worse cabs, but not by much.
Yeah, it's clearly a lot of pieces that don't go together very smoothly.
Yeah.
You know, the robot mode looks pretty good. You know, for an Optimus Prime that's clearly fairly posable and stylized and all that jazz.
Yeah.
And I don't think it transitions well over to a truck desperately well. It's the only one we see that has a transformed alt mode, at least on display here. So we don't know how the Megatron's going to fare. We don't know how the Starscream's going to fare.
That Starscream, I can't imagine how that's going to transform.
Neither can I. There's nothing about it looks like, unless you've got like a bag of extra bits, I don't see how you change this into a jet.
Yeah, I mean, Megs, I think I can kind of see, especially with that big ass shield he's carrying around with him.
That's definitely going to be used to hide stuff, 100%.
Oh yeah, but oddly, the thing I'm most interested by is that bust they've done, because
it's quite nice.
Yeah, I like that the head is kind of like an exploded head, so it's like he's opened his head up in a way. So
it reminds me a little bit of the DK books. You remember how me and Griff and George were talking about the Warhammer DK books?
Yeah.
I remember the DK Transformers book kind of did this kind of Optimus Prime and Megatron kind of splitting them apart, and it gives me that kind of vibe. I wonder if you can push the parts back together. I imagine you might be able to.
Yeah.
It's like a weird jigsaw.
I'd be surprised if you couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, and like close his chest up and stuff like that. So
there's no way you won't be able to close his boobs. No way. Not a big fan of if that's meant to be the Matrix in his chest. That's it looks like a USB drive, but with a light in it.
It does.
I'm not quite sure what they're going for, to be honest.
It feels like they're trying to merge a bit of the movie aesthetic with the G1, and it's not quite worked there. The rest of it actually looks, like we said, looks perfect. Looks pretty decent, to be honest.
Yeah. It's not something that I would go for. Like,
no,
I don't know where this goes in like a person's collection, unless you just have a collection of busts effectively, and you don't, and there is no general aesthetic. It's just things go together because they're a bust of something.
Yeah,
I don't know. And like you said, Starscream, I don't know how that's going to transform. I feel his null rays are a little bit too long. They're like crutches, effectively.
Yeah, Starscream is compensating, shall we say?
Yeah, no, I'm getting the vibes that he's the clubfoot dude from the House of the Dragon season 2. Just going to be slumping around because he can't walk properly. Looks like he has very anime face design, I suppose. But and as you said, Megatron. I like the Gatling gun fusion cannon for Megatron.
Yeah,
that's kind of neat.
Nice touch. Yeah,
yeah, and he's got the over-the-shoulder cannon as well, which is kind of nice.
Mm-hmm.
His overall design, it's a bit blocky. It's a bit too blocky, maybe. It reminds me of... I always forget his fucking name from the IDW comic. The antagonist for the Drift comic.
Turmoil,
thank you. Wow, he straight off the bat. Jesus. Yeah, I always forget Turmoil's name.
I've got to figure him on the shelf over.
Oh, well, that would be it, yeah. I don't know why, but it gives me Turmoil vibes. And he doesn't even have Turmoil's cigarette. Silhouette. Doesn't have Turmoil's silhouette.
I do get what you're coming from, though. I do understand the logic.
It's something.
It's for chest.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, because Turmoil's chest is very much like Impactors, which is why they share a mold from the MMC guys. But he's got that sort of angular chest that Megatron doesn't normally have, which this version does.
Yeah.
And yeah, coupled with the fact that the fusion cannon is the minigun as opposed to the traditional design, it kind of gives that vibe in a big way. Even though Turmoil doesn't have a gun like that, his one's more actually built into his arm.
Yeah,
as a whole. I want to see all of these painted up though, coloured, because that I'm really intrigued by.
I agree. I think that'll be interesting to see how they are as a final product, to see how they all come together. I'd be interested to see a review on these as well. Like, how stable
absolutely.
are they? Like, if you pick up a Megatron and you shake him violently like a baby, will he just like have his parts fly all over the shop? Or is it fairly cohesive? You know, is the transformation parts for me but fun? I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
It's nice, it's different, you know.
Yeah, but I guess it's something. In the chat, we have Exel Hedge saying Black Arachnia is next. Oh, is she? But with all the backlash to the prior females got, I doubt we'll ever get her. Yeah. A lot of very angry, silly people online, but that's the internet.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got it that they were a tad overly sexualized for characters who perhaps shouldn't have been, although...
Why shouldn't they be?
It's something that some people do find a little bit... It's weird to describe, because there have been some really quite skeevy figures over the years.
Sure, yeah.
I've seen the like. And Flame Toys, because they do have such a good track record for their designs, I think people were expecting something that it wasn't quite as... I'm trying to say this without coming across like a massive dick, so I do apologise. If I cause anything, I'm not trying to, so apologies in advance. But there is a tendency for I think people were hoping for designs that actually were a bit more just for characters as robots, as instead they made them, because they were more overtly female in their design. Whereas pretty much all the male characters were very true to their G1 aesthetics, just extrapolated out, whereas these weren't. And I think it just was a disappointment more than anything else, that people were hoping to get one thing, and instead they went for like the easiest approach they could.
Let me counterpoint you. Titty cell.
Exactly.
Titty cell.
Yeah, that was kind of like where I was going to. But
yeah.
They went for the easiest option. Sexy baby.
Yeah, pretty much. People bought them, people didn't.
And the thing is, they were really nice designed. A couple of people I know, I've seen pictures of theirs in hand on their display shelves. They look fantastic. Not perhaps what I would have wanted in my collection if I was doing that line, but they look great. But I do understand why some folks were aggrieved to see them take that approach. And also why, after having had that backlash, Flame Toys would be reticent to do Black Arachnia, a character who is
the most
ironically, given who the animators said they based the model on, especially for a Transmetal 2 design. They've
True.
quite open that they based her on a stripper at their local club.
Yeah. Good for that. Good for her, I guess,
And
immortalized.
well, you can't say it doesn't show in the character.
No.
Unfortunately. But it's just kind of ironic that Flame Toys could have actually done it without, well, probably still annoying some people, but they could have fallen back on the logic that, but we're doing it based on the original design. But
they didn't want to, and I guess we'll see if any more get done in the future.
Yeah.
Exel Hedge also says Megatron with the Gatling fusion cannon is neat. Yeah, we mentioned that. And Starscream looks like he's stolen Rumble's pile drivers. Yeah, yeah, I can see that. They're long enough to be Rumble's pile drivers, that's for sure. We also have Fox's friends. Hello, Fox's friends.
Hey.
There are no foxes here, but there are Transformers. Hopefully you'll stay for them. Let's move on to Takara Tomy are showing the 40th anniversary of their TF-40A Lio Convoy. So it's Lio Convoy from the Legacy line, but they've tweaked it effectively. Not done a huge amount to it, but they've basically taken the very depressed, sad lion face that we had, and they've changed it to an anime-accurate face, which looks a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
The figure still will be rife with issues, like the red bar that holds on the line's shoulders, the line shoulders, whatever you call those parts of the line. Yeah. And then the underarm, those were never neat. I wish you could always just remove them and they were just pegged in or something like that.
The underarm claws was my biggest problem. I mean, I have him. I'm actually really glad I got him because I've always wanted a Leo Convoy. I mean, I find it hilarious that you can get Bargain Max have got him for almost a tenner at the moment.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, the problem with Leo Convoy's always been he's always had a messy design. Always. And I think the best way you fix it is you make it so that you can have those underarm claws as attachable or detachable. Don't force it onto the figure because then it makes things way more awkward. It's like if they do a big convoy in the future, that'll be another figure that'll have that kind of issue because he has a lot of shell and a lot of crap stuck to him at all times. And if you can unpeg it at the very least, if it's on pegs and on ball joints, you're going to save a lot of... I think you're going to avoid some issues with just how the figure kind of looks at the end of the day. What do you think of this upgrade, though? What do you think of this new anime-accurate lion face and mane? Because that's changed as well.
I dig it. I like the face. It's much more true to the anime, like you said. The gold is nice. I like the fact that the gold is now across everything that's not fur or red or blue, which really, compared to the Legacy toy, that's a nice upgrade because he's all kind of he's got gold claws on his paws, but otherwise he's all the gold is more this mustardy yellow color instead.
That's right,
which is fine, but this just feels better. And I'm on it. If I'm being honest, if I can get hold of one of these, I probably will do because it just feels like a nicer version of the character, truer to the origins of the character.
I'm not sure I'd want two of him, you know?
Well, yeah.
But I can understand wanting this because this is like, you want Leo Convoy. This is the better Leo Convoy because like the lion mode is just better to look at. Like the lion, I don't know what. Well, we do know what they were thinking when they made that lion head mold for the original release. They wanted to make a quote unquote real lion, which I don't think anyone who wants a Leo Convoy wants a quote unquote real lion. No one wants that. That's the problem with a lot of the Beast Wars redesigns. No one wanted. I don't think none of the fans who like Beast Wars go, I want a real insert animal for this character. We just want what they look like in the show. They've understood that for G1 for a while now.
Yeah.
Understood that for most lines, as long as they're not animated or something more stylized. So just do this again. I like the fact that the mouth opens seemingly a lot nicer on this one as well. That's quite nice. Though he doesn't look fierce. He looks like a happy anime lion. Kimber the lion. I think.
Which I think is pretty much what they were going for in the first place when they designed him.
Yeah. I'm shocked they never did a repaint of this into like Simba from The Lion King. Maybe it was too close. That would get Disney's ire. Because let's be fair, Kimba, as The Lion King, I'm pretty sure was ripped off heavily from Kimba.
Yeah, it's a knockoff of Kimba.
Yeah,
in a big way.
This is let's say this is a respectful nod towards Kimba because it was a very different show, and it turns into a robot. So maybe a Simba one could have been a fun crossover with Disney, and Disney and Hasbro work together these days.
Yeah, I mean, I would be very surprised if at some point we don't get a version of this that actually looks like a real lion in color.
In the X series, the crossover series, I could see that.
Transformers crossover Lion King.
It could happen. We've seen weirder. Knight Rider.
This is very true. It's very true.
But yeah, we don't really have any information on this apart from, the obvious new bits of the lion head. I don't think there's anything new apart from the lion head in the main, but that's okay. No information on price. I think it's fair to say he's probably going to be a little bit more expensive.
Yeah, I'll probably say around probably 40 to 50, I'd guess.
Like yen-wise, 5,000, 6,000 yen, maybe?
Something like that. Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Which is expensive for what it is, don't get me wrong, but exclusive. You're not getting this in America. So
equally, if he's just a general releasing for Takara...
Ain't no way. If it is, I'd be super impressed. I'll get it if it's a standard release and it's like 4,000 yen. I'll just buy it.
Yeah.
Because it'll be cheap as chips.
I mean, not being funny. If I see it on HLJ, I'm messaging you to see if you want one so I can get two. Save on postage.
I mean, I'm down for that.
Yeah.
So, we also had the Takara Tomy version of another version of Transformers 1 Optimus Prime. This makes the fourth or fifth. Because there's the...
Studio Series, Deluxe... There's for one changer.
There's this one. That's 4.
Yeah.
There might be another one. I don't know. There's a lot of Optimus Prime G1s. Transformer 1 Optimus Primes now. But this one has a few bits of information to it. It's going to be 9,650 yen, which is $62, which is Commander class. So I wonder if that means we're going to get a Commander version in America. We have no idea, at least at this point in time. It's going to be coming out in Japan-a-land on September the 12th, so relatively soon. It's not too far off. Is there any other info? Similar to Rise of the Beasts Awakening Optimus Primal figure, which I don't remember that. The figure has a face change, so you can have him with mouth or without. Energy cannons can deploy from the shoulders in robot mode, which we've kind of seen kind of mediocre versions of in the other versions of the toys. Includes the matrix that can be stored in the chest, because, of course, and a blue Energon axe, because, once again, of course. So, how do you think this stacks up to the pretty decent-looking deluxe version, which is maybe not the best to transform, but in terms of robot mode, was really solid, and the cheaper, slightly cheaper, and much cheaper in terms of budget deluxe figure, the non-Studio Series one. How do you think this stands up to those?
Oh, it's weird. I mean, I kind of prefer... I'm not sure if I prefer the axe on this or the bog standard deluxe version. Because the other version's got painted bits around the base of the energy axe to look like it's actually got an emitter attached to it.
Yeah.
Matrix looks alright. I like the face swap gimmick. The shoulder cannons, fine, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, they've done that on loads of the other toys as well, so it's not that. Oh, no, this one specifically, his shoulders split apart, for those not aware. It's not just his stacks kind of spin down, his shoulders move out to the sides, and then trigger con flip forward, I presume.
Yeah, looks like.
Or you'll just do it yourself. It's either spring or it's not spring. I don't know. But
interesting. I mean, I saw someone say that this was a leader class.
Yeah.
In size, and it looks like a decent sized figure, to be honest. I'd like to see it next to something else.
I think the proportions are a bit weird on it. Like he's got really big, long, kind of thick shoulders. Compared, like his red shoulders are the length of his top half of his torso down to his waist.
They are a little bit, yeah.
And I think if you put both of those shoulders, if you rip the shoulders off and put them together, they'd be nearly the same width as the chest as well.
Yes, but he does have he's got very hench shoulders. He's not Mr. Dave.
And he's got the Earthrise kind of thing where he's got quite short thighs and then really long shins. I'm not sure how accurate this is to the proportions of like the movie model, but I'm pretty sure the deluxe studio series had better proportions on it. I think. I can't say offhand if that's 100% sure or not. But this,
I'd probably agree with you on that one. I think I prefer the colors on this one. It looks
100%. He's got the correct gray. He doesn't have smoke. I've been in a smoker's home for 30 years gray, where my gray's just yellowed. The colors downright better. The vehicle mode better. It doesn't look like a mess, which the Studio Series 1 did. That one looked crap. This looks a lot better and more accurate. I'm not a big fan of the Matrix.
It's a little dull. It could have probably done an extra paint app, a little bit of silver on there.
It's not just that. It's how like wide the handles are.
It is a bit big, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks like it was a mold used for a different figure, like to be a G1 Matrix. Again, I haven't seen the movie and can't remember what the Matrix looks like in the movie, if I'm completely honest from the trailers. So it hasn't really stuck in my head. I'm wondering if the handle holes are that big so he can faux hold it better.
Yeah, I mean he's got opening hands, which is nice. Not always guarantee on this scale.
Yeah, well, if this is Commander, it seems like it's Commander price, and it's what they tout it as. I guess that makes sense. He should have movable fingers. I guess.
Yeah.
That seems to be a bit more standard. I do agree. I like the face swapping gimmick.
That's cute.
Here's a question: is it the fact that the mask goes away, or is the mask and the eyes all one piece, and it's more like a Masterpiece 3 Seekers? You know, when you kind of lifted up the head and you kind of twisted it around.
I think that's what it is. It's like I think it's like Gen Select's Megatron, Super Megatron, where you pull the head up and you can just reverse the face to get the other face.
It's not so much that the mask vanishes as you swap the entire face around. Yeah, I think that's right. Just okay. I think the unmasked face might look a little bit better. The masked face, I think the mask looks a little squished. Yeah. Yeah, I think the non-masked face looks a bit more well proportioned for the rest of the head.
Yeah, I think that was kind of like they had to make that compromise to make it work.
Probably.
Which is a shame, but hey.
I don't know if this is the best version of the toy, though. I don't know. I think this really depends on what you're looking for, maybe, in terms of your Prime ones.
But you know what? It's nice that you have... It's Prime. You're always going to have options, but it's nice to have this. It's nice to have this many options. And the fact that all of them have something different to recommend.
Yeah.
Because so far, I think we've talked about 3 of the Primes, haven't we, so far?
Yes, we'll have talked about the mainline one, the Studio Series one, and this one. We're not talking about the Fast Changer one because who gives a shit? That'll be crap.
Yeah. But each one of these 3, we've had something positive to say about a element of it that's different to something in the other figures.
It's that weird thing of there are positive... None of them are perfect, but each of them do something okay. Maybe not amazingly well, but well enough.
But there's something there, I think, for everyone in each different class. That there is a Prime for you.
Yeah, it's just a shame that there's not the definitive version which you go, that's the one. I want that one. Because I still think in terms of if you want the best display piece, the Studio Series one might still be the best display piece one, even though he's got some issues with his handling and I think his QC was an issue that people have reported, and his vehicle mode's just shit. The standard version seems like it's maybe the best all-rounder for its price, and this one seems like it's kind of full of nice, interesting gimmicks, but proportionally might, again, I say potentially because I'm not sure, potentially might not look correct. So it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. I really do want to see what people make of this one once it's out in the wild, though, because...
Would you buy it? Because it's going to be a Japanese exclusive, and so far hasn't been announced for the West yet.
I'm not sure.
If you could pick one, if I put a gun to your head and say choose one Prime out of the three, which one do you think you'd kind of edge more towards? Let's say as well that they're free and you wouldn't have to pay money towards them. You could get one and it was just off Santa's sled.
I'd probably go with this one in that case.
Because it's the bigger one.
Yeah. I'm simple like that. As is, I didn't know that the standard mainline deluxe was coming, so I think I've kind of dipped out. I've not got the Japanese version of that. I might see if it's available. Once it hits UK retail, I might see if I can pick one up if it's in the local Smiths. I have the Gen Selects one on pre-order.
Oh.
So
the Studio Series, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's Studio Series. I'm in an argument whether to keep that pre-order going or not. I might cancel it, but I'm not sure.
I think it might be worth cancelling just because they'll probably do something. They might do something better with it.
Yeah, I'd be very surprised if we don't get like a Versus 2-pack of that Prime and Megatron, possibly with tweaked colors to make them.
Yeah, because the only reason I say that is because Gamer Edition Optimus Prime was not very good. And then they did the 2-pack with him and the other Megatron, and clearly, it's not Gamer Edition Prime, but it's that mold, and it's clearly had upgrades to make it look way better and to fix a lot of the problems that it originally came with.
Yeah, that's the other STCC release. I'm annoyed we didn't get over it.
Was that an STCC?
Yeah, that set was a con exclusive.
Damn.
Yep.
Huh. It's weird because we got the studios, we got the SDCC. As far as I'm aware, or we're getting the SDCC Sentinel 2-pack arcade edition. So why aren't we getting the Transformers one? That's weird.
Maybe they'll put it up. Copies of it up around.
It would have been up by now if it was going, surely.
Sometimes they've held stuff until their online PulseCon thing, so maybe they'll do that this time as well.
That's still smelly. Very smelly.
It is, but...
Oh yeah, the newest things they've gone to Hasbro Pulse are limited edition Decepticon and Autobot ingots.
Yes, I saw those, and how the hell are they both sold out?
I don't. People are stupid. People make dumb financial choices. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm not in a place to judge, really, but come on.
I know, an ingot.
Why are they sold out and not the freaking Mandalorian Nighthawk 2-pack?
I can't wait to get my fucking ingot. Ooh, I'm gonna be rich. Transformer bullions. To be fair, if you got enough of them, maybe you could recreate the scenes from like Die Hard 3, like Die Hard with a Vengeance. I don't know. Maybe you could do something like that.
I don't think they're that sort of ingot.
They kind of are, but not really. Let me dream, Big D. Let me live my Die Hard 3 dreams. I do see that the 2-pack of Dying Ratchet and Brawn are in stock, which I'm tempted to buy. Because if I'm going to get those two figures, I'm going to get the dying versions of them. Because I already have the Ironhide and the Prowl, and they're really good.
I still find the fact they've done those 2 packs, especially Brawn and Ratchet and Prowl and Ironhide, being murked. I know it's an iconic scene there, I get it, but still, the fact that at one point it was the easiest way to get Ironhide and Prowl.
Well, I'll throw this out to you. They're the best versions of Ironhide and Prowl. No translucent plastic on them at all.
That's fair.
And they're because of that, they're way superior. There's no mismatched red on Ironhide. Mm-hmm. It's so bizarre. Yeah. And they've got and I mentioned it before, they have expressions molded onto their face for a change. Something that Hasbro keeps refusing to do. No expressions.
That's a fair point.
It's like whatever her name was from Incredibles, where she's like, no capes. She's in Hasbro and she's like, no emotions. None. Edna
Mode.
That's yeah. So next up, we have listings. So it won't be a huge amount to say here, but listings, ho, ho, ho. We have Studio Series Voyager 86 Scrapper. These are from Amazon, so Scrapper's going to be a Voyager. Makes sense. He's going to be a leg, so he's got to be big. We have Studio Series LDR, Leader, I think. Transformers 3 Shockwave. I don't give a shit. Sorry. Voyager Transformers 1 Sentinel.
That's interesting.
Sentinel Prime, I presume? That
Now, that's the question. Would it be... Because we're thinking Sentinel Prime, which is an obvious thing, because we've seen Sentinel Prime's deluxe toy.
Yeah, are you thinking Quintesson?
Well, or this film's version of the Omega Sentinels.
I don't think so. I don't think they do that.
Yeah, it's probably Sentinel Prime, which I'm down for because I actually quite like how he looks, his design. So,
well, I'll throw out why I don't think it would be an Omega Sentinel. Because I don't think for a character it's not a character. We haven't got there's no studio series like RC or Bumblebee, and they'd be much rather to do one of them than a random jobber. I would imagine. Leader, LDR, once again, Transformers 4 Optimus Prime, PR, so package refresh, I think that's meant to be. So again,
yeah.
And then Studio Series A-Level DLX for Deluxe DEV Development, Optimus Prime OP. I don't know.
Yeah, neither do I. That's...
Is that meant to be... what did it say? It doesn't say the deluxe. Was the 2-pack of Optimus Prime and Soundwave from Reactive a deluxe?
Oh, no, it was a Voyager.
It was a Voyager, okay.
Yes, Soundy was for deluxe from that pairing.
I don't know.
Both very, to be honest, I'm actually quite happy to have both of those. They're very nice.
They're clean versions. You don't have to have the weird black splodges randomly coating them. They won't be things I'd be caring about, but it's fine.
I mean, honestly, on these two, it's not that noticeable. Starscream and Bumblebee were much more noticeable for their damage apps.
Yeah, Soundwave, it helped that he was really, dark. really, really dark blue.
Yeah, whereas Prime,
way too dark.
I mean, not been funny, the War for Cybertron version has much worse silver paint on places. So
True.
Yeah.
Axel Hedge says 6-pack if they include Megatron. For which one, I wonder? What were we just talking about? Were we talking for the dying sets?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm reckoning
Starscream with gun.
Because I'm reckoning they could justify doing a new Seeker mold because they need to because the Earthrise mold's crap. They could do a new one of them, and if they wanted to, they could reuse that mold very quickly to do damaged or dying Skywarp and Thundercracker. I also think they could do dying 3-pack Insecticons because they've already got those figures out, so you just need to gum up, crack them up a bit more, put some holes in them, and they could do that. I'd probably buy them, especially if they were cartoon accurate versions, because they're not the current ones we have. So I'd be tempted by that as well, to be honest. If you wanted, you can't do the wheel. No, if they do a wind charger, you could do a wind charger wheeljack pack.
Yeah,
they just need to do a wind charger at some point. That could be okay.
They still haven't announced wind charger in the mainline, have they?
I don't think so.
No. I mean, I know he's probably the most forgettable of the year one mini bots, but that's still odd. They
are getting through the mini bots, so they could get one out at some point. Excel's Head says, Andy. ... That's me. Hello. Welcome. So next up we have our time travel event, where for some reason, Power of the Prime, which is from 30 years ago, or so it feels like.
Yeah.
I don't remember how long. It might be 10 years. I don't know if that's right or not.
I think it's about 8 years.
So I'm nearly 10 years. Nearly. The Power of the Prime Optimus Prime is coming out again. I don't know why.
God almighty.
These hit at the end of last week, I think, and I think it was Axel Hedge or something mentioned in chat. And I thought he was bullshitting. I was like, Axel Hedge is being a little silly, a silly boy sausage man.
And then it even says the article is from 2018, so 6 years.
There you go. Well, okay, not 10.
Still far too long.
A very long time, especially for the amount. Yeah, these leader figures have just gone up in shops for some reason. Not like it's a bad toy. It's pretty interesting in the mold.
I mean, not even in small numbers. I mean, some of those are
a lot. Yeah. These came in proper full cases. Granted, the cases are 2 primes per shipping box. But there are a lot of these, so it almost feels like someone was in the Hasbro warehouses and just went, "Oh, shit, we should send these out." I guess.
Did we forget to post these?
Kind of feels like it. It's happened before where they've just found stuff randomly.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the story is behind this, but okay, if you want to go and get it, it's not priced like a leader. It's priced at $60. So I think that's more Commander price point, right? No, Commander's higher than that.
Yeah, $60 US. That is leader price point.
Yeah, I don't think he was sold. I don't think leaders were 60 6 years ago. I'm pretty sure they were cheaper than that.
He was about 40.
That's what I was thinking. So maybe this is technically cheaper than buying it off eBay. I don't know.
I mean, not being funny, he's not exactly been a difficult figure to pick up if you want one. Him and Hot Rod, they're repaints into Nemesis Prime and Rodimus Unicronus. They're the harder ones to get hold of.
Oh, all right.
I've anytime I see, I mean, not being for two, this is the better figure. I have the Nemesis Prime repaint, and it's lovely. Just it feels much nicer. Because for Hot Rod, I had to get an upgrade kit just to make him bearable.
Yeah.
Well, I've hidden him somewhere because I just can't bear to look at the fucker.
Don't look at me.
I mean, it's so weird. I mean, it's nice for folks who maybe missed it to have a chance to get it because it's not a bad figure.
No.
It's an odd figure in some ways.
It's pretty good in a lot of ways, and it made a really good Star Convoy. Because that was what this was based off of. I think it made the better Star Convoy than this, but the idea behind it was fine. Simon Tang in the messages says, someone mentioned on another podcast said it makes sense because it follows the story of the movie of the Autobot turning into Optimus Prime.
Because you got Orion, because you got the cab is Orion Pax who slots into the...
Are you saying, or are they saying that the idea was they found these in the back of a warehouse and then they went shit and then they went, wait. Transformers 1 crossover.
No, it's even worse than that. I've seen some people suggest that this was an intentional reprint.
I don't believe that.
Which, I mean, I don't believe it because it's in the same power for Prime's packaging.
Yeah.
And also that gives Hasbro far too much credit.
Well, it's the thing of like the mold was probably retired, right? The molds wouldn't have been in the factories, surely. So they would have had to have been brought out of storage, sent back to the factories, and then reused again. Yeah. And I don't think that would have happened specifically for a 6-year-old mold for specifically this. I think the real thing that would be a giveaway is if anyone knows what the numbers on the side of the shipping boxes are. Those would probably determine when these were originally made, I would presume. Same for the codes on the actual toy boxes as well, I would guess.
The shipping box, that looks really nice condition for a box that would have been sitting in a warehouse for 6 years.
6 years,
or more.
Yeah, it's weird.
Because I've seen packaging that's been wrapped for longer, for less time, I should say. It's come out looking a lot worse than that. So
I guess it depends how well the storage is.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, regardless.
But it is nice that folks have got the option to get it. And it is, ironically enough, it is a nice tie into Transformers 1 with the whole Orion Pax to Prime gimmick. So
the problem is, a way better Optimus Prime is right around the corner, arguably.
Yeah.
With the Studio Series, which I heard recently there are people that don't like the look of the Studio Series one, which I was kind of surprised by.
I have seen people having a go about the backpack on the Studio Series, and I just think, but that's how he looks in the cartoon. He has a big backpack.
It's not that big in the cartoon, in fairness, but it's way less egregious than some backpacks that we've seen on figures.
Absolutely.
The people let go. So it's like, it's not that bad, I don't think. It looks about as bad as the last Masterpiece one, at least to my eyes, at the very least. So I don't know. Anyway,
damn so cheaper though.
Yeah. Still expensive, but it is indeed cheaper. But hey, Power of the Prime Optimus Prime. He's back, at least in America. Don't count your chickens before the hatch. I don't think he will come out in the UK again. At least I'd be surprised. But for Americanos, if you're interested in getting one, there you go. He's there.
Absolutely.
And the last bit of news we have for the week is we have interview with John Warden's return, Generation Studio Series, and Combiners and more. There were a lot of questions to go through, or they had going through. I didn't pick out a lot of them because there's a big old stinky amount. Did any of these questions pop up in your eyes that you saw that you were like, ooh, that looks cool?
I saw one bit. He answered a question about upgrade kits and equipment packs for Transformers, and it went in on how because he and his team, they're also the G.I. Joe team.
Yeah,
and they're quite fond of that gimmick, giving people options, and it's something they want to try and explore more because we haven't had up any equipment packs since Red Cog, and before that it was Centurion.
That's true. Yeah.
So they mentioned that it's something they would like to explore, possibly because they have put alternate heads in some of the multi-pack figures. They were talking about possibly doing that in these equipment packs as well, which would be an interesting idea, and just give people options for how they display their figures and stuff. And it's like, yeah, that's interesting. That's a nice way to look at things. So, I mean, really, it just came across that they are still fans. We've probably got the most fan-led team we could have at the moment.
I think the concern that people have with John Warden coming back is not
going back to G1.
Yeah, just focusing purely on G1. It kind of seems like he's suggesting that won't be the case in some parts of the interview, but it's like, I guess we'll see. There's one particularly stupid question that I would deem as being really fucking stupid, which was, when can we expect another HasLab after... No, it was... when can we expect another HasLab after Omega Prime? It's like, well, it'll come. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's just like...
Just give it time. It'll probably be an even amount of time between releases.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It's coming. I was trying to see if there was another one that I saw that was interesting. I think there was. What led you back? What led you to coming back to Transformers? That's a really good question, said John. I was working with Lenny for about 3 years as a design director over top of G.I. Joe, as well as the other kids' brands within Hasbro, new inventions and things like that. The love of Transformers and Transformers community brought me back. Extra doubt, to be honest. I looked across the Hasbro portfolio and started to see some commonalities, not just in true crossovers, but in the way fans interact with our brand, the way they understand them, the curve of nostalgia and popularity, and also precision and intricacies within the Transformers universe. I think more than anything, I was drawn back to the rich lore and the universe of Transformers and promise of immortal metal men that are able to live forever and scan and transform. That's really a magical premise that I think will never ever go out of style, and it's something I'll never stop being in love with. Kind of a corporate-y answer, but it's not. It sounds nice at the very least, kind of thing. And
honestly, any of those fan streams with the team, they're so charmingly awkward, the whole bunch, that their love for the properties they're working on does come through. So I know there have been missteps over the years with bits of franchise with some of the toys we've gotten.
I usually boil that down to people above them, to be honest, who says, this is your budget. And they're like, but we want it. And it's like, no, suck a dick. This is what you've got. Suck it up. Yeah.
And I think the way now that they've moved into doing the 86 movie and Studio Series, which honestly I don't think anyone really expected them to do when Studio Series launched. Because I think they said...
My assumption was that it was going to die. They were going to finish covering the live action movies, and then they were going to go, okay, well, that's the live action movies done. We're finished. We'll do another toy line, whatever that might be.
But moving to the 86 movie in Studio Series means that potentially they could bring across more of keep that more of a G1 vibe, and use whatever replaces Legacy to bring in more of the weird bits from around the franchise.
Well, you say that, but now we're getting to the point where we're running out of 86 characters to do.
Yeah.
We're coming to the end of that, which is why the Gamer Edition stuff has been kind of injected in there as well to kind of beef up the longevity of that kind of brand. Studio Series brand, I should say.
Yeah. I mean, it's the nature of things that because of what the franchise is, they do, from time to time, they will need to go back and they will have to do new versions every so often of Prime and Megatron and B and Soundwave and Starscream. But we are at a point where they are putting out a lot of characters from other bits, which none of us would really have expected. So I'm kind of tentatively optimistic to see what we get coming down the pipeline. So, I mean, I'd love to see them do the Transmetals and Transmetal 2s from Beast Wars beyond Megatron and Tigerhawk.
I mean, they still need to... it feels like they still haven't got the entire cast of... I think they've got the whole cast of Beast Wars out, right?
They've got the whole cast of Season 1.
Yeah.
And they've got Silverbolt, Tigerhawk, and TM2 Megatron.
That's right, yeah.
If they haven't done Quick Strike, TM2...
most of the Transmetal 2 stuff. They barely touched Transmetal or Transmetal 2 at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the Transmetal 2s would be Dinobot, Black Arachnia, and Cheetor. The Transmetals would be Cheetor, Rat Trap, Tarantulas, and Megatron, and Primal.
Yep.
So those aren't massive numbers of characters.
Did you mention Depth Charge?
Oh, yeah, Depth Charge, yeah. And Rampage, of course. Yeah. Can't forget those two nut jobs.
Yep.
Actually, I'd love to see those two updated because, one, they're quite fun characters in the show, but also they're just really nice designs. But the original toys were great for the time, but I'd love to see them get an update.
Yeah.
Beyond that, I mean, I doubt we'd see any of what were the core G2 lines done, as much as I'd love to see. We've had bits of them, so like Leadfoot and Leadfoot really.
they're all primarily just redos, very slight remolds, and that's about it. Yeah. I don't think they're popular enough. I think they'll focus on just more shows potentially. Yeah.
I mean,
and that'll be it.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see because we now have a fair few of the Japanese Beast Wars characters.
A couple, not a huge amount.
We've got Magmatron, Leo Prime, Skywarp, and Tasmanian Kid.
I wouldn't really say Skywarp is a Japanese character because he was in the US branch as well. But I know what you mean.
Yeah,
he's part of the thing. He was a basic repaint, to be fair, with a new head. So
he was. I mean, I managed to score one last week. In Handy's quite a nice repaint, to be honest. The head sculpt's lovely on him. It's weird seeing him and Filch and Air Razor side by side because same basic figure, and they all just look wonderfully different. It's great. I mean, I'd love to see them do more of that. So maybe some of the Japanese exclusive Predacons.
That'd be nice.
I'd love to see Big Convoy and Galvatron get done from Beast Wars for respective Beast Wars shows. More of the Armada Unicron trilogy guys, especially the Decepticons. So like Cyclonus and Demolisher would be nice to see done.
Well, one of the questions was, do you think minicons sold as their own packs are possible as well? And John said absolutely, and then give a big old floppy explanation. But I guess there's the potential that they might do minicon packs, but I wouldn't hold my breath. And if they are going to do them, feels like it might take a while for them to come out.
Yeah.
And they'd need to be careful because that would affect how the sales on the Hasbro exclusively kind of stuff would be effective. Because let's be fair, that's why people really want those sets. They're like, oh, it's a nice redo of Hot Shot, but you want Jolt.
Yeah.
Big reason to get it. Good old Jolt. But yeah, that's. I mean, if you want to go and have a look at the interview, there's a lot. There's a bit with the team.
It's a big old interview.
Yeah,
Goes
then
in
there's a bit
fair
with
bit.
John Warden as well. They also one of the questions which I thought was interesting as well. Would you be interested in making Armada Jetfire to go with or Overload to go with Prime? Armada Jetfire is one of those things we continue to ask about. Armada Optimus Prime does have compatibility and opens the door for combination features that our fans of Armada are used to. Please stay tuned. So that feels again kind of like shrug, maybe.
I can't say anything. Wink, wink, wink.
I don't even know if it's a wink, wink, wink. I think it's a It could happen.
It's keeping the options open because
yeah,
I mean,
foot in the door, and that would be about it. And it's only like your little pinky toe, not a full foot. It could happen. To be fair, if it's like between like Beast Wars Galvatron and Armada Jetfire, I'd go with the Galvatron, to be honest. Because we haven't had Galvatron since the original Galvatron figure from Beast Wars 2.
Yeah, and he was a really interesting design.
He's a good figure, an interesting look, like you say. But that's all of the things for the news this week. So we can move over to Big D. What have you been up to recently? What do you got? What have you been doing? All that kind of fun stuff.
Well, not much. I've been building more of my GW stuff. So I've just finished building a Lehman Russ Punisher this evening. Yep. Had to dig out an old second ed Lehman Russ Dozer Blade because this one didn't come with one.
Did you see that there was Midwinter Minis today, how to make cheap tanks? I haven't got around to watching it.
He's used the Wolverine tank from Archon Studios, which is like a £27 kit.
Oh, damn. That's cheap that's cheap as shit compared to GW.
Well, man, it's basically... I actually have one here because I backed one of their Kickstarters for Terrain, and I had credit enough to add one of those to the thing. I haven't built it yet. The basic tank is effectively, it's like a Chimera, but without the gun slots at the back. It's got the rear hatch. There's no hull-mounted gun, and the turret is more like a Lehman Russ light battle cannon turret, or think one of the autocannons from the Russ Exterminator.
Okay. It's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, Mantic, it's out of stock of Mantic at the moment because they actually repurposed it as a troop transport for their firefight system for one of their factions. Yeah. And that comes with a resin upgrade kit to replace the turret with more of an AFV type top of the hull. So it's not as much of a tank, it's more of a proper infantry fighting vehicle look. But it's a decent kit. I mean, like I say, it's 27 quid, which is, even if you go play in it, I mean, in the UK, North Star Minis sell it because I think we're one of the main distributors for Archon over here. But it's a decent kit, and it looks hell of a 40k, so it fits in wonderfully if you want to go that way. I was going to use it for one of my proxy armies because I'm doing some Catachans based off the Reptilian Overlords stuff, so that might work for those. So yeah, I built the Russ. I've built a few more of the Stormcast from Skaven Tide.
From Gruff's set, or your set that you gave to Gruff?
From my set, I sent Gruff all the Skaven.
Yeah. You bad man.
Yep, I'm evil like that. I picked up Ursula Creed.
Oh, yeah.
Built. She's actually a really nice mini to build. I quite enjoyed that one. That was fun.
I just don't like how she looks. I think she looks lame. I don't want like a rotund gentleman or lady on the battlefield.
Well, she looks more like
cool.
She looks more like she's just jacked more than anything else. But
she looked like Mrs. Trunchbull from Matilda, and I wouldn't describe her as looking jacked personally.
Fair. Finished building some Arbites, which was fun.
New ones, right? Or the old ones?
Need to get more of those because they were fun.
Should be easy to get them now because they're coming in big box sets. I mean, granted, you then have a lot of other stuff, but
they're not hard to get hold of at the moment, to be honest. I know people are sort of, I can't get Arbites. Like, well, just find someone online selling them. They're not they restock quite quickly if they haven't got them in hand.
I guess it's maybe just the shops then that they're going to, because I haven't seen.
Maybe.
I mean, my local GW not had any in any of the times I've had a look. Granted, that's not a huge amount, but
Yeah. Well, do you remember back when the Kazakin got released outside of that Kill Team box?
Yes, yeah, they were a pain in the ass to get for years, for ages, months and months.
Yeah, because I remember you telling me you were struggled to get them.
Yeah.
No, I didn't pre-order one because I'd already gotten a set from because I did get the big Kill Team box they did with them in the first time, but I did want a second set eventually. I actually happened to walk into my local hobby store the day they came out, and they had a stack of the damn things, so I just grabbed one.
Well, that's a handy.
And I've never seemed to have trouble. But everywhere I seem to go seems to have them in stock. It's the bits places that are more difficult to buy bodies from. You get so many bits on the kits. You really, from one box, if you can just get another 10 bodies, you can build another squad.
Yeah.
Easily. It's just the bits places can't that, so they charge as much as a full box just for the bodies. Typical. I got some more Battletech minis, which was always expanding out my little 6mm mecha armies. So that's fun. And Transformers wise, I got the free deluxe Star Raiders, Lockdown, Filch, and Cannonball, who were all. Well, Lockdown's the weakest. Filch.
What makes him the weakest? Is it just you're not a big fan of the mold? Or?
I think they've done the best they could with. I mean, the mold looks like it was intended to be Lockdown originally, but then it's so bizarre because there's a lot about it I do like. I like how they've tried to integrate things like his hook is done a lot better than how it works with the scrapbook toe line mold.
Right.
There's actually a piece that you can connect it to that slots into the hand, but it doesn't fully cover the hand from all angles. If that would actually go over better, that'd be nice. But I have seen someone who's doing a replacement hand piece to let you just put the hook in there without the gun attachment.
Okay.
So that'd be nice. I know I say the weakest is purely because of how strong Filch and Cannonball are, to be honest. Because Filch is just a really nice retool of Air Razor with a bit more of a Cybertronian design to him, which is nice. And the colours purple and dark blue with teal really does sing with a nice head sculpt. Cannonball, though, I think this is the third or fourth version of the Skids design we've had.
Yeah, and I didn't like it when I got him as Crankcase. I was like, this is not a good mold. It felt like a really old mold when I got him.
This feels so much better.
How?
All right, the knees a lot better. They're not as floppy as they could be on even Skids.
Oh,
so that's
good.
nice.
Yeah.
Now, because he's clearly intended to be Cybertron or Armada Red Alert, he does come with the hammer and the grasping claw.
Sure, yeah.
Which can both plug into his gun hand, which is on one wrist, but they can both be stored in the hollows in his lower legs, which is actually a really nice touch. That's clearly what that was designed for to start with. I mean, everything just feels a lot nicer joint-wise, but not as loose. There's more. It feels more stable. I think he's actually a little bit taller as well. I think when they've done retooling, they've given a bit more height in the thighs.
Is the transformation better? Because I remember transforming Crankcase was a bit of a pain in the ass. Trying to you had to smush him basically in the right way to get all of his pieces lined up, and it never felt like a nice, cohesive, smooth experience.
I think so.
Okay.
I mean, compared to the other versions of it, I think he feels a lot nicer. So, and the deco is quite nice as well. Lots of gold, red, deep reds, nice teal detail as well with some of his car bodywork tampgraphed on. Got a smoky cyber key that doesn't do anything. You have to store in the back of on the back of the cab, but no, he's. I mean, I'm quite happy to have all three, to be honest, because it's nice to have just another faction. and to only need like 2 more guys to complete it. So, and for what are basically light retools and repaints, I mean, these are actually pretty decent. So I'm happy with them.
All right, good.
I picked up Trash Master.
Did you get him from the Entertainer for like 15 quid or something?
Yes.
Yeah, Gruff told me about that, and I was like, I still don't want him. I want to see what the repaint is, or the retool of it is.
I mean, in hand, he's a doofus, but he's just fun. I mean, I appreciate the fact that they've gone. Here's a new mold, completely new mold. Even if he's a bit janky, he's just fun as well. I picked up Towline. The other, he was quite a nice. I was just trying to fill some of the RID 2000 characters, honestly.
Is it better than Lockdown, since it's the same mold, effectively? Or about the same?
I'd say about the same.
Okay.
The colours and the head sculpt do most of the work for him. He's still got some of the same issues that Scrapbook had that I disliked, but I knew that going in. Got the first 2 Mayhem packs. So the Deluxe Insecticons.
How's the quality control on them compared to the Insecticons?
About
the same?
Fair, I'd say. I mean, they felt a lot nicer in hand than... Because I've got the other 3 for basic Insecticons. These 3 just felt nicer.
Okay.
Because I've got Ransack as well from the Buzzworthy 4-pack.
Yeah, because Kickback was pretty shaky. He was not a super tight... He's not even that good of a Transformer, to be honest. He doesn't do a huge amount. He's in that really awkward phase of Legacy where most of the first wave of Legacy was kind of poop.
Yeah, I mean, Barrage and Chop Chop, it helps that they both come... They come with additional legs for the robot modes that you plug into their arms in robot mode.
Yeah, same for Bombshell and Shrapnel, if I remember. They did the same thing.
Well, kind of, except for Shrapnel and Bombshell, they were both intent parts that you could use for other stuff, whereas on the other 2 guys, they're actually just intended to be legs. So Chop Chop has a set of 2 legs on either side that are just solid chunks of legs, not massively long, but they are what he had on the old G1 toy. And for Barrage as well, he's got some extra greebles that are different. I mean, hell, you get most of the same stuff that came with Shrapnel and Bombshell as well. So you're getting more stuff, better quality control, and it helps that the Insecticons always had quite a nice, because they were all different color schemes compared to the regular Insecticons. They stand out a lot more. I like them. I like some stuff he did with like having Barrage and Bombshell torso basically reversed. That's a cute touch. Wing Sweeper is I actually quite like him a lot. I think he might be the best figure out of the 4. To be fair,
what makes him the best?
He just feels most. All 4 of them I felt were good. He's just one that feels... He's got cracking head sculpt. The paint scheme I just really like. It is pretty much the original character 1-to-1. Not a fan of the target mass instead of his own bespoke weapons, but there's an upgrade kit that non-F are doing that I'll pick up for that. So that's fine. But he just feels... There's an issue with Needle Nose where he could be a little bit loose in some places, and I don't get that same feel out of Wing Sweeper. So it feels a little nicer in hand. And then, is it Dead End?
It'll be Breakdown.
Breakdown. I get people's annoyance that he's not a big pickup truck 4x4, like he's sharing the same mold as Bulkhead, but I think it works better for him than Bulk. I mean, Bulk I actually quite like, because I found a good way to pose him where if you put him in a slight squat, you get a bit more of that chunkiness back to him. So he doesn't look as ball and live. Whereas for breakdown, everything just feels like it works with better. And with the hammer hand piece, you get as the extra bit to slot into into the mace hand. It just makes him feel, gives him that little bit extra. It makes him feel different to the mainline bulkhead. Probably not as much as you got for record bulkhead, because they're pretty much 1-for-1 in sharing all their bits. But I'm glad to have him. It's nice. It's nice to have a version of knockout and breakdown that match up, because I didn't pick up a prime knockout.
Yeah.
I've got a prime breakdown.
Because the prime knockout's crap. It's bad. It's a bad
the original
mold.
or the legacy version?
Both.
Yeah. But I like the mold that they use as a basis for legacy knockout. So I like how they
Jazz's mold, isn't it?
Yeah. I was quite happy with that mold. So I actually didn't realize until someone pointed out to me that it was quite a big retool of Jazz. So, but I like that mold to start with. So I'm happy to have them as a pair now. So, yeah, not bad. Otherwise, I managed had a bit of fortune because a couple of folks in the Black Series groups on Facebook pointed out that Star Action Figures found some Ahsoka Sabine Wren figures. A figure that sold out pretty much within minutes of it going on sale last year. And for under 20 quid. So I got one.
All right.
Which I'm very happy with. She looked great. More Mandos. Yay. Yeah, that's my collecting for the last whoever I knows. What about you? You got anything cool?
Yeah, well, I've been putting it off for a while because the shows have been running over, so I've had to cut my bits out. So one of the things I was humming and hawing about getting for a while was the Unite Autobot Stands Unite 5-pack. So I was humming and hawing because I was like, I don't know. I know a lot of people went in for this set just for Hound. Hound's probably my least favorite of the set. I didn't have any of them apart from Jazz, because I got the G2 Jazz. So may as well start off with Jazz. So first off, with all of these figures in the set, there's no translucent plastic. Already doing that, marked improvement. The QC on this Jazz compared to the G2 Jazz, this Jazz is just way tighter. All of the joints are nice and good.
Okay.
And because the entire car canopy, the window screen and the back window screen are like hard plastic, there's no reason to worry about them exploding in the future, which they could do.
Cool.
So this is the better version of the G2 Jazz that I have. No loose joints, just feels nice overall. A lot better. I guess we'll go with Wheeljack, because he's probably I like him more than Hound, but he's probably the least favorite, because I know a lot of people didn't like the Earthrise Wheeljack, and I can see why. His chest is obnoxiously large. Even on this version, they didn't help that, but at least it's not translucent plastic. He's got weirdly long arms that are also flat at the same time. Mine has a bit of a loose, outwards hip motion. It's loose to a point, and then you get to about maybe 40 degrees or something, and then it kind of gets tight again. So you can get him into a split and it'll hold. But then once you go back to neutral and get that past that 40, it gets to be floppy again. It's weird. Not quite sure why that's the case.
How are the lower legs? Because I've got the Earthrise Wheeljack, and I actually liked it a fair bit, but I did have to go out and get an upgrade kit just for. I got one that specifically added some extra support to the lower legs.
What do you mean? What do you mean exactly?
Well, I can dig it out. So there was there could be a tendency before I installed the upgrade kit for the way that the knee joints attached to the lower legs, they could come loose.
I haven't had that issue. Yeah, that seems to be pretty tight. Yeah.
Okay.
No issue with that so far. And the maybe an issue that I've seen people complain about as well with this Wheeljack is that he's missing all of his road like racing detail stuff for the most part. So he's very bare, especially in vehicle mode.
Yeah, the Earthrise version did have a lot of nice paint apps for that stuff. So,
and even then, not a lot. I know there are toy hacks where you can really kind of spruce them up and make it look a lot better, and it does help.
They went nuts with all that stuff.
But they're trying to do the animation accurate version of him, so he didn't have that much. So I don't mind, but I can see why people have issues with it. The head sculpt on it's quite nice. You have the correct shoulder missile thing on him, which is also fine. It's not great. It's weird that they have the big old peg on the side of it, so you can only have it on one side of him. Otherwise, the peg's going to be jammed into the side of his face, which isn't great.
Yeah.
But no, the Wheeljack's not too bad. I liked him more than I thought I would.
Cool.
Trail Cutter, which is a pretty fucking old mold at this point, right? As well.
Yeah, he was Earthrise as well. Yeah.
He was early Earthrise. I like him. I like how tall he gets. Again, no translucent plastic, which is a big old help. I like the fact that I wish that his backpack, his little silver bit and missile that kind of come up, there was a bit more space behind the head so they could kind of have a bit of... They'd be easier to see behind the head than they are because the head kind of obscures them a little bit, but that's not too bad of a thing. The gun hand covering gimmick is okay. It works well enough. The transformation is, again, not too bad. The biggest issue is that in vehicle mode, it's the same as before. Like, his entire forearms are very, very visible on the underside of the car.
Yeah.
Still, he's nice and tight. He's not floppy. Like, I shake him. Nothing's moving on him at all. I'm shaking him like a child. And yeah, nothing's wobbling around. I much prefer the gray on him as well than the hard black plastic that they used. He's way more like the cartoon gray. So I think that looks a lot nicer and more accurate as well.
That did look a lot nicer in all the pictures I saw of that set.
Yeah, I like that a lot more. Sunstreaker, who's probably my favorite of the set, because I hadn't had that mold. I really like him. Again, his the biggest boon is all of his yellows match, because there's no translucent plastic. They had to badly attempt to paint yellow. He's very fun. Yeah, I like him a lot. It looks right. Transforms, oddly enough, kind of similar in some ways to Wheeljack. That's the same kind of faux chest where you kind of flop that down.
Yeah.
But no, I like him. I think he's better than Sunstreaker. I only have the G2 Sunstreaker, but I think he's better than that. And again, if I shake him like a baby, he doesn't really move. He's quite nice and tight again. So the pack's 100% should be a pickup if you've not had any of these figures and you have any interest in them. Is it worth getting them if you don't have any of them? I don't know. I didn't talk about Hound. Hound is my least favorite because he feels like the oldest. Because he is.
That's interesting.
He's a retool of the Siege version. So that's a very old figure at this point.
I thought it was I didn't realize it was a retool of the Siege one. I thought it was they'd done him from scratch.
Nope, because Detritus was a redo of that mold. It's really noticeable when you transform him into his vehicle mode because his feet don't really do anything. Just like the Siege version, they kind of just hang around. And that's the same for this version. When you transform his feet just kind of hang on the side of the car mode. I got stress marks on because the wheels unfold very similar to the way the Titans Return wheeljacks do. And then they kind of peg where you would expect them to peg. And both of those slots that peg into the side have now got stress marks in from the pegs, which isn't great. I don't know if that was an issue with Detritus. And I wish his shoulders would peg in better. They don't really peg in super hard. I feel like if you move... Let's pick him up, actually. And that one's fine. Yeah, one of his shoulders doesn't really peg into the slot it's meant to go into, unfortunately. I don't think it's because I'm not pushing it in hard enough. It's hard to see because the light's failing me at the moment. Yeah, it just feels like it's a friction peg that doesn't have much friction to it, unfortunately.
Okay.
So he's okay, but if you're picking this setup just for Hound, I think you're doing yourself a disservice. It's not really worth it just for Hound. Hound's fine. He's not like a bad figure. I don't like hate him or like resent the fact that he's in the set pumping up the price. But he just kind of feels like a kind of an afterthought. Like, yeah, Hound's fine. A big note as well is in robot mode. If you look on the back of him, again, if you have detritus, you know this. He's just got a giant hole, like his chest is, or his like abdomen, like his lime green abdomen area is like Jazz. You know how Jazz has his kind of, it's hollow for his, if you look at the inside, but he's got his backpack covering it up. Hound doesn't have that backpack to cover it up, so it's very noticeable. And because that hollowness is transferred over to the vehicle mode, it feels like there should be like sculpted seats in here, because this is meant to be like where the people would sit for the vehicle mode, but there's not. It's just like grooves, plastic grooves.
I have seen at least one upgrade kit that puts sculpted seats and the steering wheel in.
Yeah.
And doesn't have to be removed either. It just sits there.
Well, yeah, there'd be no reason to remove it. You could just, it wouldn't affect the transformation at all. You just, like you say, you'd slot it in and it'd be done. Yeah, the Hound, he's fine. He's like the weakest of the set, but he's still fine. He's still fairly like baby shakeable. It's just if you move the shoulders, they seem to not peg in desperately well, and they'll come loose if you try touching them.
So what did that set you back, that set?
I got it for, it was either 90 to 100. So it's about 20 per figure. Yeah. I know you can get it for 114. I'm not sure if it's worth 114. If you can get it, so each figure's about 20. I'd say it's definitely worth a pickup. Again, as long as, especially if you haven't had everything. If you've got, if you just get it for Hound, don't bother. Get it for the set. If the whole thing interests you, yes. If one or two figures, probably not. If 3, maybe. 4, okay. 5, yes.
Yeah.
Smart with your money kind of deal. So I got that. I got this weekend, I got Tiger Hawk, Legacy Tiger Hawk. I picked him up and played with him. He's a pretty interesting figure. He looks really cool. I've actually got a shot of him. I should put him on screen. They're not my images. The fact that his like feathers are like holdable weapons is weird, because it looks more like he's going to just fan you down on a hot day than he is going to hurt you with them. The guns are hollow, which is not awful, but it looks kind of weird. There's just missing plastic.
Yeah.
I'd say the robot mode is good. It's pretty fun to transform. The waist feathers kind of get in the way as the waist articulation, but it's not too big of a deal. The hollowness of the wings from the robot side is kind of obnoxious. And there's we've talked about it before. The DK kit, the DNA Designs kit, kind of sorts that out, but I'm not sure if it's really worth it just for that. The actual transformation, it feels a bit like parts kind of clatter into each other a little bit, especially when you separate the crotch area and you're meant to swing them up, but you don't swing them up straight away. You got to do a lot of other stuff before you finish swinging them up.
I mean, in fairness, the original figure is like that as well.
Certainly. It's still worth mentioning that this is not it's not what you call a smooth transformation. There's a lot of like, you have to finagle a lot of stuff to not hit off of itself. It's overall, it's good. I wish the tiger mouth had a little bit more teeth to it.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
It's kind of a gummy tiger in a lot of ways. He looks, I wouldn't be shocked if you told me that was a bear head sculpt. I could kind of believe it as well.
Yeah.
It doesn't entirely look tigery, but it's good enough. I like the figure a lot, though. I think it's a lot of fun. It feels like a leader class figure. I like it more than the Megatron, to be honest.
I'm actually really glad to hear that, because I know that, again, we'd spoken about this before, and you'd been a little bit hesitant about picking him up.
Yeah.
I picked him up pretty much from the off, because he's always been a character I'm a fan of, because I still have the original version.
Same.
And I quite like this. It's nice to have a modern version. Not necessarily an update, but a version that...
No, I'd say I would confidently say this is an update, because this, in robot mode, this does a lot more than the original version. It's posable.
That's true.
Massively more posable. I think it looks nicer as well. The paint scheme on it is nicer. The original figure is nice, but there's so much white plastic on it, which just devours all the detail. And don't get me wrong, there's white plastic on this, but the original one was, if I remember right, like a glossy white plastic. So the shine of the white ate everything. This is still white plastic, and if you have like a panel liner and you're so well inclined, it's going to look better if you give it a touch up. But it breaks up a lot more of the detail way better.
Well, in fact, this version has stuff that was white, unpainted plastic on the original, but is either molded in a different plastic or is painted on this version.
Yeah, so I would definitely say this is easily an upgrade. It's definitely worth picking up. Do I think this is the best version of the character? No, because I think if they repaint this into Razor Claw Fist, I'd buy it again because that color scheme is really fucking nice. It's just purple and black, but it looks really good.
Purple and black works, baby.
It really works. And translucent red as well. Also, there's translucent plastic on this, but it's not obnoxious. And it's not. There's nothing. There's only one part that's painted over, and it's the clear plastic piece itself. It's not like the chest. It's not like his wings. It's just like a little bit of a shoulder pad. And it's like that's fine. And then there's eye visor. That's how you can. That's how you can do translucent plastic.
Yeah,
just not the whole thing. Not big old lumps of it. Yeah. Overall, I got it for like I don't know. It was 52 originally. I think I got it for 40. I was like, really happy with 40.
Not bad at all. That's pretty decent.
I did consider should I wait like Armada Megatron's gone down to 30. I'm not sure if Tiger Hawk will drop that low, but I was happy enough with 40 to be honest.
That's fair.
And as I said, I think this is overall better. I like this. Let's say I like this more than the Transmetal 2 Megatron. I think he has a better robot mode. There isn't. He's got the correct face, which for some reason they managed to fuck up with the Transmetal 2 Megatron not giving him the right face.
I don't get how they did that, to be honest.
They were going for the weird toy face, kind of, but not really as well. It was a bizarre choice. Megatron has probably a better beast mode than Tiger Hawk's, and Tiger Hawk I think has a better robot mode than Megatron. And I think transformation wise, Megatron's probably less fiddly because there's less parts clacking into each other. But I still like Tiger Hawk more.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably give Megs just the fact that he's probably the heavier for two figures as well. He feels a bit more. There's not as.
I'd need to have them both in hand. You might be right. I don't know.
But I don't. But that's because Tiger Hawk does more. Because Megs, all of his weight kind of is trade off to having his dragon head arm and the articulated tail and the big ass wings. Whereas Tiger Hawk, you've got his funky fans, you've got his wrist blaster, you've got the guns that you can take out from underneath his wings, or they can do stuff in beast mode. He just does more, which is kind of like the trade-off to that slightly obnoxious hollowness, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I'll take that, to be honest, because Megs, I mean, my version I got off someone and didn't have the flame effect part, which I'm not terribly sad.
No, it's an okay flame effect part, but you're not missing much.
Because the only other thing you can do with it is use it as a club, which is nah.
Yeah.
Whereas Tiger Hawk is just loaded with stuff. He just feels more fun to mess around with.
I would agree.
So,
I'm not sure what else you could have given Megatron apart from like a book.
No.
And you're not going to give Megatron a book as a children's toy.
No, and I get that, but it's kind of a trade-off. So Megatron is for more substantial, meaty figure. Tiger Hawk is for more fun figure.
Yeah. The only thing I wish is his back legs for his Hawk mode, they look ridiculously silly and small. They just look...
Yeah.
Again, I know why, because they have to go inside of his chest and then around the top of his shoulders. So there has to be some give there. But it doesn't, like... It does look very strange to see how small those legs are in comparison to his front legs. But I like it. I still think it's good.
Yeah.
I still think it's a good, solid figure. And then I also got Wreck-Gar, Studio Series Wreck-Gar. Seems like I'm going back through the Studio Series, just picking them up, at least some of them. Like, I'm not getting the Magnus because that's 120 or more pounds now, and I'm not getting Studio Series Hot Rod because I was watching a Studio Series Hot Rod who was like 17 pounds. So I was like, oh, and then like he was either ending today or a couple of days from now, and it went up to 75 pounds. I was like, oh well, never mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he was mint in box, so I guess that's the reason. But I was like, no.
But still, I mean,
yeah, he's not that good. He ain't that good.
You make me feel bad about the fact I got him when he first came out.
No, you shouldn't. He looked like a good toy. It was my mistake for not picking him up. I just think I wasn't interested. I mean, it was the same with Wreck-Gar.
To be fair, I understand why you probably, because Hot Rod was a Voyager, effectively a deluxe size figure at a Voyager price point.
Yeah, I think that was. I think I was getting around that time. I was just really perturbed by the pricing on Studio Series figures.
Yeah.
And some of them didn't have a great reputation. Like Cup and Blur have pretty bad reputations. They got a lot better. Wreck-Gar's an example of that as well. Yeah.
I mean, in fairness, Cup has some quite glaring issues. Blur, I never understood the hate for. I actually like Blur. The only real issue I have with Blur is the fact that his hands, the way that they covered them, does leave quite big chunks hanging off his forearms.
Yeah.
But I can't really see how else they could have done that, which is the frustrating bit.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you're not a toy designer, so it's I guess not your job to try and figure that out. And at a Voyager price point, was it Voyager Deluxe? It was Voyager.
Deluxe.
Oh, it was Deluxe. Yeah. Maybe if he was a Voyager, they could have done more for him.
Hot Rod as a Voyager is a work of magic, frankly, because
and he's got a lot of extra stuff as well to justify.
Loads of extras, and the transformation. It's one of the cases where you can see where the budget went to because it's all in the engineering.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you go like, so RC, and you go, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the Kingdom one? The one that no one fucking liked? Oh.
No, It's not even that. RC, Studio Series RC is for Thrilling 30 RC.
I thought it was the Kingdom one.
No.
Oh. Either way, whether it's Kingdom or Thrilling 30s, it's not good.
They decided that a Thrilling 30 version was a better option than the Kingdom RC.
I thought it was the Kingdom one, to be honest. Either way, neither would have been a good choice. But Wreck-Gar, Wreck-Gar unique mold. Again, I really like him. He's really good kind of quality, which is what I was surprised most about. Like the QC on him, really good. I don't know why, but on seemingly everybody's Wreck-Gar, the axe that holds his, the hand that holds his axe, his right hand. For some reason, everybody's spike is bent. Everybody's. I've never seen that spike not be bent.
Hang on. Let me check mine a second.
It's not massively bent, but it's got a curve to it.
Nope.
The image on screen I'm using has a curve to it. On the stream, there's a curve to it. I know there is, because mine has the same curve.
So I'm holding mine in hand trying to match it up to the picture on the screen.
And when I look at people's in videos, a lot of the video reviews I've seen, they have a curve to it as well.
Yeah, but just at the
it's kind of just at the tip. Like where it gets a little bit smaller, it just curves very slightly.
How bizarre, because that's not on any of the others.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, all three other spines, and then it's everybody else's has it as well. Don't know why. Very bizarre. It's minor issues. I wish the beard filled the whole gap. Like in his face, there's a gap for where the plastic goes for his like pliable beard. The beard doesn't fill the whole thing. There's a gap just between like the bottom of the brown the top of the brown plastic. There is a slot that isn't completely filled in. It's not a massive issue. It's just one of those things when you notice, you go, oh, that's a bit of a shame.
And now you can't unsee it.
Yeah, kind of. Again, translucent plastic on it, but it's in a perfectly fine area that's not obnoxious, so it doesn't really affect the figure. I assume they've made his nipples articulated to make sure they don't break. I assume, just to give them a bit more survivability. I think that's why they're there. I know some people are like, why are his nipples posable? I think it's to stop them exploding, which that's fine by me. The transformation and the alt mode they're okay. I think that the way that they are so that he can be ridden. I think that's the reason. I don't think it's a bad transformation. I think it's it feels a bit like a deluxe transformation is probably how I would describe it. And then there's a bit of finagling getting the forearms to peg into the front of the bike mode. That's probably the most fiddly bit I had, like the orientation of where the shoulders are meant to go. Because I didn't think the instructions really explained it too well. I had to look at a video online to kind of get a good feel of how those were meant to peg into the front and then hold the wheel. But I'm shocked how good he is. I want to get Scrap Heap and I want to get the Duck Bike dude.
Yeah, I've been in around about those two, to be honest.
Well, I know you can get Scrap Heap for like £16 somewhere, and the other Duck Bike's like £20, and I think like for deluxe price points or less, it's like I'll buy them. Fuck it.
Yeah, it's I've been resisting real hard, and
it's just surprising how nice they are, because this is clearly way, 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 way better than the last Wreckgar I had, which was the Generations one with the brown plastic that explodes. If you remember that one. Pretty decent mold, pretty interesting transformation, pretty decent bike mold, but this is better. He's way more secure. He doesn't die. He looks like the movie version, and it's like
not spring loaded. So
was that one spring loaded?
Yes, but it had part of the transformation. The bit that breaks most was part of the automorph gimmick they were using at the time for reveal the shield.
Oh, see, I remember the thing that broke for most people with the handlebars. Because you twisted the handles, but the handles had like black nubs on the side. Yeah. And those nubs would, because of the way the plastic would work, they would actually push the handlebars off the bike. So a lot of people just snip those handlebars, not the handlebars off, but the nipples that would hold them in place, because they wouldn't move. It didn't matter.
I never had that, but apparently one of the issues for folks in the last 5-6 years have had is that any of the Junkions based on that Wreckgar, there's a tendency for where part of the transformation is spring-loaded, some of those parts have a tendency to go
break. Yeah.
Yes.
It was the brown plastic they decided to use. It's weird. I don't know.
It's a shame because it was like you said, it was a novel design.
It looked like it was a nice redesign of Wreckgar. It worked. It was like, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those designs that kind of summed up Generations for me, where it was took the feel of the G1 character, but gave it a nice modern remix.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I also got the Sweep. I've yet to open him. He's still in a box next to my table. I didn't pay too much more for him. I paid like about £30, which I was like, I wish I could have paid less, but fine, I'll take him for 30 because I couldn't find him less for like mint in box. And I'm not getting Scourge because he's basically Scourge, just a slightly different color. So I was like, I don't give a shit, whatever. He's Scourge to me. He looks nice. I've looked at him in his box and gone, but that's about it so far.
I have the Scourge version, and he's quite nice.
Yeah.
I've got the Scourge.
It looks like there's a bit of an issue with like just how much backpack there is to it.
Yes.
But before I have that in hand and fiddle with it myself, I can't really comment too much about it.
Because I've got Alpha Trion as well.
Okay.
And they both. It's actually kind of it's weird because on one hand it's an awkward backpack because it is a lot of backpack.
Yeah.
Equally, it works really well to replicate the idea of him having this cape. That's a hard thing to replicate, probably without it just being a complete shell.
Yeah. There's no good way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine. It's only an issue if your display is quite compact.
If you're running out on space, you wouldn't know about that, would you?
Because then it becomes obnoxious. Not that I would know anything about.
No. Obviously, it's not the best version of Scourge because third party have done really good work with Scourges as well. But yeah.
But for mainline, I struggle to see what they could do at that price point better, to be honest.
It's what, like, getting these figures recently for the Studio Series has got me way more keen on Bumblebee and on Optimus Prime than I would have been before, because previously I was just like, yeah. What got me into the Studio Series line was basically the Prowl and Ironhide 2-pack. I got them and I was like, well, I kind of want to try the rest of this studio series to see if they're as good quality. And everything I've been picking up from basically everything I've got since that 2-pack, that Prowl Ironhide 2-pack, I've been very impressed with, because looking back at the Galaxy Force Starscream, he feels kind of inferior to the rest of the things I've been picking up recently, which is kind of sad, because I was kind of okay-ish on the Galaxy Force Starscream, but getting these ones, these feel generally just like bangers in comparison to him for some reason.
Perfectly fair.
Yeah, I'm hoping they reissue the Studio Series Ultra Magnus, but I'm not holding much hope out for it. And same for Hot Rod. I think that's going to be the only way I'll be able to get those guys, because otherwise there'll be too much money.
I'm actually surprised that Hot Rod hasn't had a reissue before now, because
same.
I mean, they redid Cup.
Which is weird, because Cup didn't do desperately well.
Yeah, they retooled Blur.
Retool, I wouldn't say counts too much, because they did him into IDW Blur, and I know one like that, and that was for Velocitron.
Fair. But I mean, Hot Rod, the fact they've not done it, because I think
they did do him for Shad Glass. He was the Shad Glass version along with
that's true.
What's his name? Wheeljack. Not Wheeljack. Whatever his name was.
But he's in more. I'm trying to think. Is he more of the animation colors? No, he's in the toy colors when they've not redone an animation. The more maroon. He's more of a deep red than maroon.
I mean, you know, what version of Hot Rod is he? I don't know, because there's so many. I think in the movie he's like, is he pink? I don't think he changed color in the movie. I think he's fairly consistently
he's
pink,
consistent
right?
color, but he's more of that. He's more of a deep purplish maroon color than a red color of the comics and toy. Yeah,
it is. So, you make a fair point. It's weird that they haven't done a quote unquote cartoon version, which they could justify in June, I suppose.
I mean, they did a movie accurate color repaint of the G1 toy.
Yeah, that's true. No reason why they shouldn't do it for the Studio Series, and they are running out of things to do for Studio Series, so why not? I suppose.
I wonder if they're holding off till the 40th anniversary of the movie to do that.
That'd be interesting. Maybe
that's only a year or two away now.
I wonder if that's when because they'll be holding off on. If they hold off on like Rodimus and Galvatron and those guys for them, that would be okay. Because you probably want to have them as the 40th anniversary guys, because they're the quote unquote main characters of the movie, compared to Megatron and Optimus, who are just arguably the best part of the movie, but the opening act of it. Yeah, that's all the stuff I've got recently.
Cool.
I'm a good chunk through Inside Out 2. It's shockingly the first Disney movie and seen in a long time that feels like it has an artistic integrity to it. It actually feels good.
Cool.
And I didn't love Inside Out 1, and I don't love Inside Out 2, but it feels like it's a movie rather than just like the trash that Disney's been farting out recently. So it feels, I'd say go watch Inside Out 2. It's got some quality to it for a change, which is nice.
I'm hesitant to say this, but I went and saw Deadpool and Wolverine last weekend.
Okay.
When it came out, and I had a brilliant time. I enjoyed that immensely.
I've heard that movie described as it is a movie that a lot of people will enjoy, but then in a couple of years' time they'll go, as it's probably the weakest of the three.
I can see why people would say that, but I came out of it feeling I just watched a love letter to the Fox era of Marvel movies.
The problem are they threw in things that are detrimental to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The TVA, which is an absolutely diabolically shit concept, and everything in Loki was nightmarishly written and damaging to the universe. And also anchor point characters is also another terrible idea. Terrible.
That's a bit daft. But
it's such a detriment to the universe.
It's such
Wolverine
a daft
dies,
idea,
and when that Wolverine dies, the entire universe dies, so nothing mattered.
Yeah.
It's so stupid. It just... do you remember how at the end of Logan, he saves those kids? Well, because he died, those kids die. It didn't matter that he made that heroic sacrifice, and everything else in that universe didn't matter because they all die because he doesn't exist anymore. It's a bizarre
weird.
concept. It sounds like a lot of the kind of nods and things in there are nice and fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean,
and it's better than a lot of the movies in a lot of ways, I suppose. But I'm not. I was gonna go and watch it, but I think I'll wait until I can stream it before I see it.
That's perfectly fair.
If it's not as good as the second Deadpool movie, and the second Deadpool movie's meh, especially compared to the first one, then it's not something I want to support, if you know what I mean.
I would say it's at least as good as the second Deadpool, possibly a little bit better.
I've heard no one say that. You're the only person I've heard say that.
Well, I mean, admittedly, I am an immensely positive individual, but I enjoyed it.
Well, that's good.
Time.
That's the important thing.
Yeah.
That's the important thing. I think the next film I'm going to see at the cinema, which will be the first time I've seen a film in a while, is Transformers 1. Probably the last film I saw was the Beast Transformers movie, because it was for the podcast, and this will be for the podcast as well. And I'm hoping Mr. White's viewing of it will resonate with me, and I'll enjoy, but we'll see. Exelhead says, watch the Retool Kingdom Rodimus out for Studio Series. You go put your testicles in a vice, sir. You put your testicles in a vice. No.
I'm just looking at what tickets I've got booked. I've got a ticket for Borderlands this Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Which I'm going to. I want to see more just out of morbid curiosity than anything else.
Okay.
Next week, Alien Romulus, which as we talked about, I'm cautiously optimistic about. I get why folks have good reason to be less optimistic, given the track record of the last three Alien movies. But well,
the director's okay, at least.
Yeah, and then I've got tickets booked for the next 2 months to go and see all 9 Star Wars movies plus Rogue One. One every Sunday.
Damn. That's a lot of Star Wars, man.
Yeah, baby.
Well,
you know what's even funnier? That'll be the second time this year I'll be watching The Phantom Menace in the cinema.
God damn.
So when is sort of the 25th anniversary?
That's a lot of the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the Phantom Menace. But that's where we'll end the podcast for today. Thank you, Big D, for coming along and filling in just for some fun chatting times and whatnot.
No worries. Thank you for having me on.
Where can people find you on the internet?
I am everywhere as David Kelly with this charming icon created by our good friend Mr. Gruff, Adam Nicol, for the princely sum of a box of Skaven.
Hey.
And I'm one for Discord mods for Fluff and Hammer. I've been doing Fluff and Minis with Gruff, just a bit of fun, half hour or so shorts talking about White Dwarfs.
You've got a new one coming up soon. Oh, no, not with Gruff. You've got a new episode coming out with Mr. White soon, don't you?
Fluff and Busters are 1 a month commentary / ramble about a movie. So far, we've done Ultramarines and Mutant Chronicles, and it was Mr. White's pick this time, and we're doing Starship Troopers.
Hey, that's a fun movie.
Yeah,
that's a great movie.
It is. Yeah, it's gonna be a fun conversation. Probably not as much commentary, more just us having a really long, rammed discussion about what went into making that movie, because mother of God. But that'll be this coming Saturday at 6 in the Discord if anyone wants to listen to it live. And I think the recording will get put up on the YouTube, the Fluff and Hammer YouTube and podcast feeds in the week after. So.
Oh, here's a little interesting tidbit. Studio Series Bumblebee, you can buy apparently now on Amazon.com. But if you want to get them from Amazon.co.uk, you got to wait till the 2nd of September.
Yeah.
Of course.
I've given up trying to work out what's going on with Amazon shipping, because I had a graphic novel on pre-order for the best part of a year, and its release date came and went. So in the end, I had to cancel that pre-order and go and order it from one of their sellers instead of from Amazon Direct.
Yeah. But to be fair, the Bumblebee isn't on the Hasbro Pulse website for ordering yet either. I mean, it's not out for the UK version either.
No.
It'll be down to that again. It's just America gets it first, and then shut up, UK people. You'll get your slop when you're good and ready for it.
Yes, I'm getting that with your BattleTech Kickstarter at the moment. The anticipation.
You'll wait your bloody turn and you'll be happy. Shut your mouth.
I'm kind of dreading it because there's a lot of stuff coming.
Right,
so many mechs.
You can find us on the Moonbase 2 forums, Twitter, Twitch, iTunes, places as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Moonbase 2 Transformers Podcast. Join in with the chat like everybody else here at 8 o'clock in the evening UK time on a Sunday. And ccbunker.weebly.com. We can be found there as well. So until then, thanks everybody for coming on by. Thank you, Big D, once again. And we will see you next week for something.
Bye-bye.
Bye.